What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Wrasslin for Life Network, and welcome back to another edition of the TNA Impact Review. And today, we are going to do things just a tad bit different. Usually, we go over the previous episode of TNA Impact, but today, we are going to talk about some TNA news. We will touch on TNA Impact just a little bit. News came out of there for Slammiversary, but we are going to focus on the debuts, the signings, backstage segments that's been going on that really need to be talked about. So I'm excited for it. And also, if you've noticed on the channel, some Thursdays we now do live streams for TNA Impact, and you get my raw, uncut, unfiltered opinion as TNA is unfolding live. So tune in for those. But today we are going to talk about some news, and I am excited about it. So let's get into it. So as I said, we are going to do things just a tad bit different today. And how we're going to start that off is by talking about the main event of TNA Impact from this past week. The main event was a street fight between Mike Santana and AJ Francis. And we know the history between these two guys. So Mike Santana has beef with AJ Francis in First Class. Mike Santana was about to get the TNA World Championship back to TNA Wrestling, because right now it's in WWE's hands, it's in NXT's hands, it's specifically in Trick Williams' hands. And so Mike Santana was this close. He was this close to winning the TNA World Championship back for TNA Wrestling until AJ Francis got involved, Casey Navarro got involved, and cost Mike Santana the TNA World Championship on an episode of NXT. So this is how we got to this street fight. This street fight was amazing by both gentlemen, AJ Francis, Mike Santana. Mike Santana has been doing his best work right now in TNA. AJ Francis has found his footing in TNA Wrestling, and we just can't discount what these two gentlemen have been doing. AJ Francis has this tag team with Casey Navarro, First Class, and they're running things. Mike Santana is trying to get to the TNA World Championship, as he should. This match is a must-see. This match is a match of the year contender for TNA Wrestling. These two put on a classic in this street fight, and this is one you have to see. You can watch it on the TNA Plus app. I believe you may be able to watch this match on YouTube as well, but I'm telling y'all, don't miss this. AJ Francis hit the Styles Clash in the middle of a TNA ring while he's in this disgrace period with TNA, because he helped Trick Williams retain the TNA title on an episode of NXT. You gotta watch this match. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. And while we're on the topic of First Class, while we're on the topic of AJ Francis, we got to talk about Slammiversary and the big news that came out for the TNA World Tag Team Championships at Slammiversary. It's going to be a four-way match for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. And this four-way match will be in a ladder match. We got the Hardys, we got the current tag team champions, the Nemeths, we got the Rascals, and we got First Class, all trying to get the TNA World Tag Team Championships at Slammiversary. And if I was booking this show right now, with the way First Class has been doing things over the past couple of weeks, I'm giving those tag team titles to First Class, to AJ Francis and Casey Navarro. I think they should walk in Slammiversary, win that match, and walk out as TNA World Tag Team Champions. I wholeheartedly believe that. But this is going to be great. A ladder match with the Rascals involved and, the Hardys. Excellent. And then you got the Nemeths, who are running things in the tag team division right now, and First Class really trying to put themselves up there with the same as the Hardys and the Rascals and the Nemeths in the tag team title picture. This is picture perfect, and I'm excited for this match at Slammiversary. I'm telling y'all, this one may be match of the night, and we still don't have all the matches announced for Slammiversary. If we're talking about some TNA news as of late, we have to talk about the Inspiration and the Elegance brand. So, at the TNA tapings last weekend, every TNA taping, they do meet and greets. And at this specific meet and greets, the Inspiration was there. And the Inspiration was attacked by Ash by Elegance. Now, Heather by Elegance was by Ash's side, but this was really all Ash by Elegance. She walked up to the table, she started flipping the pictures that they signed for fans. She flipped the tables. There was a brief physical altercation before TNA management got involved and pulled everybody apart. We got a feud. That's what that told me. We got a feud between the Elegance brand and the Inspiration. The Inspiration is back for one thing and one thing only: to claim the top spot in the TNA Knockouts Tag Team picture. They want the Knockouts Tag Team Championships, and I think they're going to get them. I don't know how soon, but I think they're going to get them. There's some animosity. There's some true animosity, and I'm not going to say true. There's just some animosity between Ash by Elegance and the Inspiration. They took it to social media. I'm not going to say they took it to social media. Ash took it to social media. Ash actually commented on one of my tweets about it, which I may put up on the screen for you right here. But I'm telling you, there's some true, some heat. I don't know if it's true, but there's some heat between Ash and the Inspiration, and I'm excited to see how this unfolds on TNA television. And at this point, we got to talk about Ash and how she is the #1 contender to the TNA Knockouts World title. She's the tag team champion and the #1 contender. She won that Knockouts Battle Royal, right? And so after the Killer Kelly and Masha match, she is the next in line. So what happens? What happens with the Inspiration? What happens with the Elegance brand? What happens with Ash by Elegance being the #1 contender for the TNA Knockouts World title? A lot is unfolding right now in the Knockouts division, and the Knockouts division is stacked right now. So we gotta keep our eyes on the Knockouts division. We gotta keep our eyes on the Inspiration as they want that top spot, and we gotta keep our eyes on the Elegance brand as they want to hold on to what they have, and that's the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. And speaking of the Knockouts division being stacked, we have two new signings to the Knockouts division in TNA. These two women were signed after their matches at the TNA Impact tapings last weekend. We have Jada Stone and Mila Moore now officially a part of the TNA Knockouts division. And TNA has really rebuilt that Knockouts division after losing some top stars over the past year. We lost Trinity, we lost Mickie James, we lost Jordan Grace, but now we got some new knockouts. So I'm excited to see where the Knockouts division is going. Like I said, they have been rebuilding, and I think they have rebuilt well. And we got new faces. We got returning faces in the Inspiration. The Knockouts division is looking strong. And if I can remember correctly, the roster page says we have about 21 to 22 knockouts in the division. Perfect. We got Danny Luna as a singles competitor now. We got Jody Threat as a singles competitor since Spitfire is no more. So this is perfect right now. The Knockouts division is looking good, and it's probably the most stacked it's been in a long time. I'm excited to see where the Knockouts division heads as we go towards the end of the year, and if we add more knockouts in the division. The division is looking good right now in my eyes. If we're talking about new signings to TNA Wrestling, we got to talk about Cedric Alexander. He is with TNA Wrestling. He showed up on this past week's episode of TNA Impact. He interrupted the Order 4 segment, and I believe Cedric Alexander is the person that Tasha Steelz has been talking to on the phone over the past couple of weeks. Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali have history, and right now the order 4 is split, and now we add Cedric Alexander in the mix. This should be good. This should be good. And right now, I think Tasha Steelz is on Cedric Alexander's side, and Mustafa Ali really is the one breaking up the order 4. If we're calling it a breakup right now, he's the issue. He is the issue in this entire group, right? So I'm interested to see how Cedric Alexander fits into this storyline. This is going to be good. I think TNA is the perfect place for Cedric Alexander, and I'm excited to see what he does with Mustafa Ali, with the Order 4, with Tasha Steelz. This should be good. Jake Something has returned to TNA Wrestling. He has been out with an injury for the past couple of months. He immediately went after Mance Warner. So I'm sure we'll see some stuff with Mance Warner and Jake Something. Actually, next week on TNA Impact, Jake Something takes on Mance Warner. But Jake Something wants one thing and one thing only. He has his eyes on one thing, and that's the TNA International Championship. And who is holding the TNA International Championship? Steve Maclin. Give me Steve Maclin. Give me Jake Something for the TNA International Championship. I want to see it. And maybe Jake Something is the right person to take it off of Steve Maclin. As long as after that, we move Maclin to the world title picture. But I did hear that Steve Macklin's contract, I think, is up at the end of the year. So we shall see. Does he resign with TNA? I think he should. Steve Maclin is a great talent. And I think if they put him in that world title picture, that man could run TNA. So I think Steve Maclin should resign. I think Jake Something and Steve Maclin should be a match for the international championship. I'm just saying, all my thoughts are just flowing out right now. Make it happen, TNA. Before we move on to the last thing I want to talk about today, we have to talk about Moose. We have to talk about Leon Slater. David versus Goliath going down at Slammiversary. And right now, Moose, I believe, is the second longest reigning X Division champion in TNA history. And Leon Slater is the one to dethrone Moose and win the X Division title at Slammiversary. It has to happen. Leon Slater, they have been pushing Leon Slater to the moon. This man has been teaming with the Hardys. This man has been in TNA Impact main events. This man has pinned Moose. He's ready. He's ready to run the X Division. He's the future of the X Division. And at Slammiversary, it's happening. I'm calling it. Early prediction. It's going down. Leon Slater pins Moose and walks out of Slammiversary, the new X Division champion. It needs to happen. It has to happen. And that's the only way I'm going to accept the outcome of this match at Slammiversary. As you can tell, I'm excited for it. I do believe this is Leon Slater's moment. If somehow Moose retains, I'll be okay too. But I think it's time for us, for TNA, to pull the trigger on Leon Slater. The last thing I want to talk about today is right now, as it stands, the Slammiversary main event. Joe Hendry versus Trick Williams for the TNA World Championship. And right now, this is Joe Hendry's redemption story. He has to win back the TNA World Championship for TNA Wrestling because he was the one that lost the TNA World Championship for TNA Wrestling. But I think we need to add someone else in this match. And the person we need to add in this match, Mike Santana. Right? Mike Santana, I feel like somewhat is the standard of TNA Wrestling. He's been carrying TNA Wrestling for the past couple of months. It may have, Joe Hendry may have been the world champion, but this is Mike Santana's world, and Joe Hendry is just living in it. That's where my mind is, right? I think this needs to be a triple threat match. I think Mike Santana needs to be added in this match, and I think Mike Santana should walk out of Slammiversary TNA World Champion. And I feel like what I just said, the majority of the TNA faithfuls want to see it too. I don't want to speak for everybody, but what I've seen on social media, what I've seen on Twitter and things of that sort, a lot of people want Mike Santana to be TNA World Champion, and I don't disagree. I think It's time. This is in his home state, his home city. This should be Mike Santana's moment at Slammiversary. We've seen Joe Hendry as TNA World Champion, and I'm not saying that we can't see it again. I'm just saying right now, I think Mike Santana is the perfect choice to lead TNA into the future, into Bound for Glory season, maybe into 2026, depending on how long they want to have Mike Santana hold the TNA World Championship. Mike Santana is the guy, and I think this should be Trick Williams defending against Mike Santana and Joe Hendry in a triple threat match at Slammiversary in the main event. But if this match goes on as a singles match, I'm fine with it as well. But I really think Mike Santana needs to be added into this match. He's had a phenomenal year in TNA wrestling, and it's undeniable at this point. Put this man in this match, make him win, have him win the TNA World title at Slammiversary, and let the TNA fans be happy. I'm just saying, TNA, make it happen. Before I leave you guys here today, I do want to quickly go over the stacked TNA Impact card for next week. So Matt Cardona will be taking on Eddie Edwards in a first time ever match. Jake Something will be taking on Mance Warner. The Inspiration is in action. They'll be taking on Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford. Nick Nemeth will be taking on Trey Miguel. And finally, Masha Slamovich will be defending the TNA Knockouts World title against Killer Kelly in a chain match. All that is going down next week on TNA Impact. That is it for the TNA Impact review this week, as we went over some of the big news coming out of TNA over the past couple of weeks. If you are watching on YouTube, thank you. If you are listening on any of the podcasting platforms, I thank you as well. I am your host, Ringsider Anthony, and I will see you in the next TNA Impact review.